Why? Like, why is there oil? Where is all this oil coming from?
Guys, I am confused about the X-Shot smoking barrel. On one hand, it's as forgettable as a fart in the wind, but on the other hand, this new technology could possibly revolutionize how Nerf blasters are made in the future. Let's talk about what makes the smoking barrel a successful failure. Out of the box, we have a 35 dart chain, 1, 2, and 3 dart holders, 72 darts, and the smoking barrel itself. Despite X-Shot sending this blaster to me, as you'll see, I'm going to be very brutally honest about this blaster. The smoking barrel is the latest addition to the X-Shot Insanity series, and it delivers on that fun and insane factor with the amount of darts and dart holders that you get. There's loads of tactical rails. There's 1, 2, 5 tactical rails. Like other blasters such as the Dreadhammer or the Crusher, this blaster also has this handy dandy bipod attachment, which allows you to use the X-Shot motorized Ragefire bipod if you have it. And honestly, it looks so good, it swivels nicely, and it makes firing this blaster easier as well. This is pretty much an X-Shot Crusher reskin, and like that blaster and the other ones out there, we have a front priming handle, and I gotta give kudos to this one because this might be the most comfortable iteration so far. I like how this part actually rotates. It's still gonna be small for some people, but this size is actually perfect. It's much better than the X-Shot Dreadhammer. But legit bread, I thought this blaster was going to be a failure. Let's talk about that.
I just opened this blaster up and immediately there's just oil and grease coming out at so many orifices.
It's really sad to say, it reminds me of some of those Ryan's World blasters that I received years ago. It's just coming out of every indiscriminatory crevice. Like sometimes I'll just pick up this blaster and immediately I get oily fingers. It's really annoying. It gives the impression that this blaster wasn't quality controlled enough and just makes it feel more cheap. However, I can't speak for all X-Shot smoking barrels out there. It just seems like for mine, it's a serious issue. In terms of design and comfort, almost everything is pretty good except for the oil just coming out everywhere.
Some viewers submitted questions about compatibility. Are all of these blasters and their chains compatible with each other? For the Dreadhammer and the smoking barrel, they're essentially reskins of each other, therefore their chains are almost the same and they are interchangeable between the two blasters. The chain that comes with the X-Shot motorized Ragefire is different, so no, this will not work with these types of blasters and these chains won't work with the Ragefire.
To use this blaster, you first want to load up the dart chain. There's a button on both sides here. You push that out. So you take your chain, feed it in. Once it catches, close that up. Now that's locked in. Pull back the handle, push it forward, pull the trigger to fire. Wait a second, that's a new problem. This hasn't happened before. So if you saw that, there's a couple times that I primed the blaster and it actually did not move the chain over to the next position, so it just dry fired. So I wonder if the chain is too heavy. Okay, it's working again. Okay, this threw me off. I did not expect that to happen during this review. And for now, forget that there's this little compartment here. We'll talk about that later. Performance and user experience. One thing annoying about putting in the chain into the X-Shot Crusher and its reskins is that sometimes it's hard to get the chain to actually lock in and for you to close this all up. But this one actually seems to be the smoothest iteration. The teeth inside here catch the chain pretty easily. So for me, it's less of an issue now. This blaster has slam fire. It works pretty well. You can take accuracy, just throw it out the window. It's a hip firing X-Shot blaster. What do you expect? Darts are going to be flying in all different directions. You're pretty much relying on the amount of ammo that you have in your chain to hit your target. And as you can see from this footage, I'm not even able to hit the target on this chair, standing about like 30 feet away. One disappointing thing about this blaster, its average dart velocity is only 73 feet per second. That would have been perfectly fine 10 years ago, but seeing that the standard for these long dart blasters can be anywhere between 80 to 90 feet per second, when you fire this, you can really feel how much weaker it is. This is also a puzzling thing because the X-Shot Dreadhammer is getting around 82 feet per second. Okay, so now I have to talk about the priming handle. I was giving it kudos before because yes, it's more ergonomic, but the actual priming of the handle is so bad. Oh, that does not feel good. Dude, that's like anti-ASMR. It really feels like the mechanism is doing its bestest to pull in the chain to prime the blaster, but my god, it feels like it's not gonna last 7 months. With its suspicious priming mechanism and oil leaking everywhere, I would expect that this blaster is coming in at a more affordable range, maybe 25 to 35 USD. But the problem is, We don't know. There's a lot of issues with tariffs at the moment, and Xshot right now is keeping its lips sealed about the price or the release date, which puts me in a weird position because I don't know the price of this while trying to do a review of it. And the smoking barrel has new technology, some new electronics that the Xshot Dreadhammer doesn't have, and since the Dreadhammer comes in at 25 USD, it makes sense that this blaster is going to come in at a higher price point. I wasn't even planning on making a full long form video of this blaster until this technology got me so excited. Let me show you how simple it is to use the smoking barrel. Housed at the back are 3 AA batteries, which you need to power up the smoking barrel technology. At the front of the barrel, we have this flap that we can lift open, and we lift up this cap, and in this hole we put in distilled water, close everything back up. Right here we have the on and off switch, put it in the on position. Once you press this button, it releases its voodoo magic, and boom, smoke starts coming out. So when you prime the blaster and pull the trigger, a puff of smoke comes out with these red lights illuminating it so you can see it even better. And just by pulling the trigger, it lights it up and more smoke comes out. I just love how the smoke spews out here. It even comes out from here. The way the smoking barrel technology works absolutely blew me away. And here's a few reasons why. First of all, this thing uses no powders, no chemicals, no slime. It's just pure water, so when that water vapor comes out as smoke, it just evaporates or it kind of beads up like water. And what I love is the minute you turn all this on, like you pull that, you press this voodoo magic button, smoke just immediately starts spilling out. It feels like a science experiment just happening instantly before your eyes.
How easy is it to see it outdoors? Yeah, against a darker background, it's super easy to see the smoke. And the smoke is much more visible in person compared to on camera. But can you see white smoke against a white wall? Let's take a look here. So unfortunately, not really. You can see the light pretty decently, but not the actual smoke. Despite my reaction here, no, the smoke that comes out of here doesn't have any sort of smell to it. I haven't found myself saying, oh, I wish this smoke lasted longer. I really only feel it every time I use it after I've put it down for a couple of days. Oh, some water spilled there. But yeah, I think it lasts a decent amount of time.
Sometimes the smoke can be a little inconsistent. Sometimes it'll just come spewing out, and sometimes you have to really press the button and wait for it to happen. But like that puff, it looks so good. And it's just such a genius idea that they added lights at the end to illuminate the smoke even more. And one viewer asked how bright the lights are. It's really cool how every time you pull the trigger, the lights illuminate the barrel, and it looks even more contrasty at night where it lights up all the plastic around it. It gives it a really intimidating look. Now, it's not bright enough to actually use as a flashlight. If anything, it might be as strong or a little bit stronger than a Nerf night finder. Damn, I'm really aging myself with that reference. It might have sounded clickbaity when I said that this technology could revolutionize how Nerf blasters are made in the future, but I really feel that could be the case. Is there a way that we can implement this into more themed blasters? All right, hold on, let me cook, all right? I wrote a list. So imagine a revamp of the Nerf Doomland series or like a steampunk series where we had steam coming out of all these different vents throughout the blaster. It gives it kind of like a mad scientist vibe to it. And speaking of mad scientists, that's totally another theme that we could go for. We've seen a kind of blasters like that, such as the Nerf Zombie Corruptor or the Zombie Strike Revoltinator. The Revoltinator already has lights, why not add smoke? Imagine the vents here with smoke and lights coming out. Imagine a Dart Zone shotgun with smoke coming out of it, that's really freaking cool. Imagine a fun Nerf Fortnite blaster, and to make it look like a party, you have different colored lights lighting up the smoke that comes out of it. I just think it's a really great gimmick that Nerf could implement. Now it's really easy for me as a YouTuber to sit here unrestricted by the fabric of reality and just kind of talk about all the things I would want to see, but honestly and unfortunately it really comes down to money. It takes more money to put these electronic components into a blaster, which that price will be put onto the consumer. And unfortunately, it's easier practice to just reskin something than to try to make something new by implementing this technology in it. That's why I'm conflicted about this blaster. It really is a successful failure because the success of this could really indicate whether companies will decide to pursue smoking Nerf blaster technology. But it's really hard to sell a blaster when I just told you the prime is awful. There's oil leaking out, it feels cheap. Like if you have an Xshot Crusher or any blaster like this, you're really just buying this for the technology. And that might not be enough to convince people to add this to their collection. But I want to get your thoughts on this. Am I just exaggerating how cool the smoking barrel technology is? Is this something that you would want to see in future Nerf blasters? If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out the video on the screen. See you guys in the next video.